The morning sun peeked through the small cracks of the curtains, painting golden lines across the floor. Sarah woke up slowly, rubbing her tired eyes. She had been working 2 jobs lately, one at the local diner and another cleaning offices at night. Life in her small town in Ohio wasn't easy. Her 9-year-old son, Ethan, was still asleep in the next room, clutching his worn-out teddy bear. Sarah looked at him and whispered softly, "You're my gift, baby. You're the reason I keep going." Outside, the snow from last night had turned the neighborhood white and silent. The world looked peaceful, but inside Sarah's heart, there was a storm of worry. Her rent was due, her car was barely running. And she had no idea how she'd afford Ethan's school trip. She sighed deeply, then forced a smile. "Come on, Sarah," she told herself. "You can do this." That was how she lived, day by day, prayer by prayer. Later that morning, as Sarah was pouring coffee for customers at the diner, she overheard a couple talking about Christmas gifts. The woman said, "You know, I think the best gift is when someone reminds you that you matter." That sentence stayed in Sarah's mind the whole day. You matter. She couldn't remember the last time anyone had said that to her. When her shift ended, she checked her phone. There was a voicemail from her boss at the cleaning job. Her heart sank before she even listened. "Hey, Sarah," the message said. "We're cutting hours next week. Sorry." She sat on the bench outside the diner, her breath turning into little clouds in the cold air. The world felt heavy. She looked up at the gray sky and whispered, "God, why does it feel like I'm doing everything I can, but it's never enough?" There was no answer, only the sound of wind brushing against her jacket. But that night, something happened that changed everything. When she came home, Ethan ran up to her with a small paper in his hand. "Mom, look what I made at school." Think of it like learning to whistle. The first time you try, it's just air. You keep trying, shaping your lips again and again. One day, a tiny sound comes out. And then, a tune. That's how English works. It's not magic, it's muscle memory. Your lips need to learn the TH sound, the way your tongue touches your teeth gently. Your jaw needs to relax when you say water, not tighten up like in your native language. Your breath needs to flow with the rhythm of your speech. These tiny details make English sound natural, not forced. But remember, this isn't about accent, it's about ease. Don't try to sound like someone else. Don't aim for perfect American or British English. Aim for clarity, comfort, and confidence. When you train your mouth daily, your voice finds its own style, one that feels true to you. Many people think fluency comes from vocabulary. But you can know thousands of words and still speak awkwardly if your mouth is untrained. That's why confident speakers often use simple words but sound natural. Their mouths know the rhythm. Try to listen to how Americans speak in everyday life. Notice their flow. It's not robotic, it's musical. They stretch some words, cut others short, and use emotion. You got to see this. Sounds different from you have to see this. That's rhythm, and rhythm is the heart of fluency. If you want your mouth to move like theirs, you must practice out loud. Reading silently helps your mind, reading aloud helps your mouth. When you speak out loud, you train your muscles to work in harmony with your thoughts. The tongue becomes flexible, the lips more responsive, the sound more alive. You can start small. Pick a story or a short video. Imitate the speaker. Don't just listen, shadow them. Try to copy their rhythm, tone, and energy. You might sound funny at first, and that's okay. Every great speaker began as an awkward one. When you practice like this, something magical happens. One day, you start speaking English without translating in your head. The words just come. Your mouth takes the lead, your brain follows. You stop overthinking and start speaking. That's fluency, not perfection, but flow. I once met a man who had studied English for 10 years but never spoke. He was shy, afraid of being judged. When he finally tried, he froze. His voice trembled, his lips couldn't move easily. It wasn't because he didn't know English, he knew plenty. It was because his mouth wasn't trained. I told him, don't study today. Just talk. So he began speaking every morning while walking to work. He described the street, the weather, his plans. At first, he struggled. After a month, his words started flowing. After 3 months, he spoke with ease. What changed? His mouth learned the rhythm his mind already knew. Fluency is not a gift, it's a habit. It's something you build, not something you wait for. Every time you open your mouth, you train it a little more. Every time you stay silent, you untrain it. When you speak English aloud, your ears also become teachers. You hear your mistakes and correct them naturally. That's how babies learn, not by studying, but by listening and repeating. You can do the same, no matter your age. Your brain remains flexible, ready to grow with sound. But here's the truth many learners don't want to hear: you must fall in love with your own voice. You must stop hating how you sound. Every voice, no matter how soft or accented, carries a story. And English doesn't belong to one country or accent anymore. It belongs to everyone who speaks it. If you've ever felt embarrassed when speaking, remember this: no one began as a fluent speaker. Every confident English speaker you admire once said something wrong, mispronounced a word, or felt nervous. But they kept talking. They didn't stop to fix every little mistake. They trained their mouth through repetition, not hesitation. So, speak to your mirror. Talk to your phone. Whisper to your pillow. It doesn't matter who listens. What matters is that you speak. Because your mouth learns only through motion, not memory. Think of your mouth like clay, soft, flexible, ready to be shaped. The more you use it, the more expressive it becomes. Soon, you won't just say words, you'll feel them. You'll speak with emotion, not fear. Every time you practice, imagine English flowing like water. Smooth, gentle, and constant. Don't push it, let it flow. When you stumble, smile. When you forget a word, breathe and keep going. That's training. That's growth. There's something most English learners never realize: speaking isn't just about the mouth. It's about the whole body. Your breath, your feelings, your posture, even your memories shape your voice. You can't separate your mouth from your emotions, because language lives inside you, not just on your tongue. When you're nervous, your shoulders tighten, your breath becomes shallow, and your voice trembles. The words disappear. But when you feel relaxed and confident, your voice flows like a song. So, if you truly want to train your mouth to talk fluently, you must first train your emotions to stay calm and open. Have you ever noticed how easily you speak your own language when you're with friends? You laugh. You interrupt, you forget grammar, but your meaning is clear. That's because your emotions are free. You're not afraid of mistakes. But the moment you switch to English, everything changes. Your mind becomes your biggest obstacle. You start to think about every word, every sound. You stop breathing. You stop feeling. You freeze, That's why confidence is not something you get after you speak well, it's something you build while you speak. The more you talk, the less you fear. The less you fear, the more you talk. It's a circle that begins only when you take the first step, speaking anyway. Even if your heart beats fast, your voice is like a mirror. It reflects how you feel inside. If you're afraid, your words hide. If you're brave, your voice rises. When you speak English, don't think of yourself as a student. Think of yourself as a storyteller. Every word you say carries a part of your story, your country, your dreams, your laughter. When you speak from that place, your accent becomes beautiful because it carries truth. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and saying, "I can speak English." The first time you do it, it feels strange. But try it again. And again. You'll notice something subtle, your shoulders relax. Your mouth opens wider, your breath deepens. This is the real training. Speaking English is physical, emotional, and spiritual all at once. Your mouth can't move freely if your heart is full of fear. That's why training your mouth also means training your courage. Try this every morning. Take a deep breath and talk to yourself for a few minutes. Don't worry about correctness. Say anything, what you dreamt, what you plan to do, what you're grateful for. In the beginning, it might sound clumsy. But as days pass, you'll notice that your words come faster. The sound feels natural. You start thinking in English. That's because your mouth and your mind have started working together. Fluency is not a race. It's a rhythm. You'll have days when you feel like a native speaker and days when you can't remember simple words. That's normal. Even native speakers forget words sometimes. The secret is to keep the rhythm going, and many learners make the mistake of hiding their English because they think it's not good enough. But English doesn't grow in silence. It grows in sound. When you speak, you feed it. When you hide it, you starve it. Every word you speak is a tiny victory. Celebrate it. Even if you say something wrong, you've moved one step forward. Think of a musician practicing. They don't stop after one wrong note. They keep playing, again and again, until the melody becomes natural. You must do the same. Let's talk about something few people notice: your breathing. Your breath is the engine of your voice. If you speak without breathing properly, your sentences sound broken, your voice sounds weak. But when you breathe deeply, your sound becomes warm and full. Take a slow breath before you speak, then let the words ride on that breath like a wave. You'll sound more relaxed and confident instantly. In America, many people speak with emotion. Their voices rise, fall, laugh, whisper. That's what makes their speech alive. When you train your mouth, also train your expression. Don't just say words, feel them. Say "I'm happy" as if you truly are. Say "I'm tired" and let your tone fall gently. This emotional connection makes your English real. It's no longer just grammar, it's life. When you practice, exaggerate a little. Move your mouth widely, stretch your vowels, let your tongue dance. It might feel dramatic, but this is how you wake your mouth up. You're teaching it new moves, just like dancing. At first, you step on your own feet. Then one day, you glide across the floor. The best part about training your mouth is that progress is invisible at first, then suddenly visible all at once. You might speak every day and feel like nothing changes. Then one day, someone says, "Wow, your English sounds so natural now." That's the reward of consistency. Consistency matters more than time. 10 minutes every day is better than 1 hour once a week. Because daily speech keeps your mouth warm, your mind alert, and your rhythm alive. There's another beautiful truth: the more you speak, the more your voice teaches your brain. You stop depending on translation. You begin to think in sound, not in words. You see an apple and the word apple comes, not because you remembered it, but because your mouth knows it. That's when English becomes part of you, and many learners say, "I understand English, but I can't speak it." That's like saying, "I can read music, but I can't play the piano." Reading helps your brain, speaking trains your body. So if you want to play fluently, you must play every day. You can make English your daily music. Speak when you cook. Speak when you walk. Speak when you shower. Speak even when you're tired. The more your mouth moves, the easier it becomes. If you ever feel embarrassed, remember this: everyone sounds funny when learning something new. Every baby who learns to walk falls hundreds of times. Yet they never stop trying. They never say, "Maybe walking isn't for me." They just keep getting up. That's the spirit you need for English. You might have people who laugh at your accent or correct you rudely. Smile at them. They see only your mistakes, you see your progress. You're doing something brave, you're teaching your mouth a new language. That's no small thing. One day, you'll realize something wonderful. You'll be talking in English and suddenly forget that you're speaking a second language. It will feel natural, effortless. Your voice will carry your emotions without fear. You'll tell jokes, express ideas, and share stories. That moment is the reward of every small practice session, every mistake, every moment you refuse to give up. Training your mouth also changes how you see yourself. You stop feeling like a learner and start feeling like a communicator. You become more open, more expressive, more confident, not just in English, but in life. Think about it: when you can express yourself freely in another language, the world becomes bigger. You meet new people, understand new cultures, watch movies without subtitles, travel with ease. You connect. And connection is what language was always meant for, so don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for the right accent or the right grammar. Start with what you have: your voice, your breath, your courage. Speak from your heart, and your English will grow stronger every day. When you speak, smile. It relaxes your face and softens your sound. A smiling mouth moves more easily. And when you enjoy speaking, your listeners enjoy hearing you. Before you sleep tonight, whisper a few words in English. It doesn't matter what you say. Tell the universe what you're thankful for. Thank yourself for trying. Tell your mouth, "Good job today." You're learning. Because it is learning, even when you don't notice, and tomorrow morning, start again. Say something small. Greet yourself, greet the world. Let English be a living part of your day, not just a subject in your memory. The secret is simple: speak to live the language, not to prove you know it. When you do that, your mouth will stop fearing mistakes. It will start trusting your emotions. It will speak with honesty, rhythm, and grace. Your fluency lives inside you already. You just have to let your mouth unlock it, so the next time you hesitate. Remember this story. Your voice matters. Your English doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be yours. Keep speaking. Keep training. Keep shining, and remember, I share stories like this every day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.